what happens when you go no contact with a dismissive avoidant ex versus a fearful avoidant ex? They may both be avoidant, but trust me, their reactions are completely different. And if you understand the difference, then no contact won't be as scary. So stay tuned. Hi, this is Lucia with The Art of Love. I'm a dating and relationship expert specializing in helping you get your ex back or to get over your ex. And welcome back, my beautiful no contact army. Have you downloaded my app Silencio to stay in no contact? The link is underneath every single video and podcast. And if you too would like to join our army, then just hit the subscribe button. And to read our No Contact Army manual, go to nocontactsecrets.com, where you can read 2 free chapters before you purchase the book. Okay, so first you have to know whether your ex is a fearful or a dismissive avoidant. So if your ex was hot and cold during the relationship, if they would come close and then pull away, then they're probably fearful. If instead of doing the push-pull, they slowly faded or they cut you off out of the blue, maybe even ghosted you, then there's a good chance they're dismissive. And another way to determine which type of avoidant they are is to look at what type of childhood they had. If there was instability in their childhood, but there was no abandonment, meaning nobody died or left, that means they're dismissive. However, if there was instability and abandonment, that means that one or both parents either passed away or left, then unfortunately, they have the double whammy of being fearful avoidant. And I think that's probably the worst attachment style to have because you're both anxious and avoidant, so you're constantly battling within yourself. Okay, so now that you've figured out which attachment style your ex has, let's talk about the dismissive avoidant during no contact. So dismissive avoidants learned early in life that closeness can equal being overwhelmed, danger, or rejection. So when tension rises in a relationship, they reach for deactivation strategies. That looks like detaching, numbing their emotions, intellectualizing, or focusing on work and or hobbies. They don't need other people in order to regulate their nervous system. This detachment makes walking away easier for them than someone who's anxious, which is probably you if you were dating an avoidant. So when you go no contact on a dismissive, their initial reaction is relief. Finally, no more pressure, no more emotional demands, no more drama. Their nervous system regulates through distance. They need to get away from you in order to regulate. So in the short term, they actually feel better without you. And this is why they can seem so cold. They'll dive into work, hobbies, dating apps, or the gym. You might hear my cat in the background. They tell themselves, see, I don't need them, I'm fine. And you might think, oh no, I've lost them for good. But here's the thing. What they're really doing is suppressing their feelings rather than resolving them. And suppression never lasts. So around the 6 to 12 week mark, little cracks start to form. A memory pops up. A song reminds them of you. They see your cute little face in their feed. And suddenly the emotions they thought they'd buried start leaking through. And this often results in suddenly reaching out after weeks or months of silence. But here's the thing. They only get to that point if you do what? That's right, stay silent. If you break no contact too soon, you're going to rescue them from ever having to face their emotions. So with dismissives, your power is patience. They come back not because you chased, but because the wall they built eventually crumbles. And speaking as a dismissive myself, the absolute worst thing you can do is to break no contact and chase them. That's not going to work. They'll come back when they're good and ready. They circle back when their nervous system feels safe. And reaching out feels lower risk now because they create a distance. Now let's talk about their fearful avoidant, also known as anxious avoidant. So this is a completely different story. Their nervous system is chaotic. So they have one foot on the gas and one foot on the brake at all times. So imagine they're in a car and they keep switching from gas to brake, gas to brake. The car is not going to get very far. And they may say they're done and disappear, but it's not stable. The anxious side keeps them hooked, ruminating and checking back in. They often walk away in a panic when they're triggered, but circle back when their nervous system shifts again. That's why they're known for being inconsistent. Hot one moment, cold the next. How fun! So when you go no contact, their anxious side panics. Did I lose them forever? Did I mess up? But then their avoidance side kicks in. No, don't reach out. You'll get hurt. They'll reject you. So what happens? They bounce between wanting to chase you and wanting to run from you. That's why fearful avoidants are known for being hot and cold. And because they're anxious, they'll reach out sooner than a dismissive would. And of course, it's going to be a breadcrumb with possibly a sweet message, but the next day they ghost. It's not that they don't care. It's that their nervous system never feels safe in closeness or in distance. So when they reached out, their anxious side won over their avoidance side, and they couldn't stop themselves. But the next day, their avoidance side yanked them back into the silence. It's like, what are you doing? Get back here. With fearful avoidance, silence doesn't necessarily mean they're done. More often it means they're stuck in ambivalent mode. However, if their interest level was high enough, eventually the anxious side wins out, and that's when you hear from them. So a dismissive can hold out longer because for them, detachment is regulation. But the anxious avoidant can't hold out without inner conflict because neither distance nor closeness fully regulates them. That's why dismissive look cold during no contact, while anxious avoidants look unstable. However, with both attachment styles, you stay in no contact until they say something significant. They're going to try to get away with breadcrumbs at first. However, if their interest level is high enough, as I talked about in another video, which I'll post the link in the upper right-hand corner, when you don't respond, they will eventually say something significant because they don't want to lose you. So when you understand your ex's attachment style, you stop panicking about their silence and start playing the long game the smart way. No contact isn't punishment, it's power, especially if you're dealing with an avoidant. So now I want to hear from you. Do you think your ex was a fearful avoidant or a dismissive avoidant? Please comment below. And if you would like my help to get your ex back, you can contact me at theartoflove.net/coaching and we will send you the rates. And the direct link is underneath every single video and podcast. If you found this video helpful, please hit the subscribe button. If you're listening to this as a podcast and want to help the show, then just download this episode. And finally, remember, love inspires, empowers, uplifts, and enlightens.